Testing one, two. Mustafa, can you hear us?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our special meeting tonight. It is the first budget hearing. It is 5:05, Friday, September 12, 2025. City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Good evening, everyone. Mayor Gomez,
Good evening.
Commissioner Bolton,
Good evening.
Commissioner Wright,
Good evening.
Commissioner Patterson,
Good evening.
Vice Mayor Daniel.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will all please rise. Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Commissioner Maury Wright Jr., and there will be a moment of silence for everyone whom we wish to give a moment of silence for. For many who are aware, this is a scripted budget meeting for certain items that we have to say for the public record. So please bear with us if we're reading some things. Good evening, everyone. This is a special meeting of the City Commission of the City of Tamarack to hold public hearings on the annual fire assessment, the annual stormwater utility management fee assessment, the annual solid waste collection services assessment, the nuisance abatement assessment, and the setting of the tentative millage rate and the tentative city budget for fiscal year 2026. These public hearings are the culmination of an entire year's work by the City Commission, the City Manager, and staff. For the benefit of the public tonight, the City Commission held workshops throughout the year, as well as 2 budget workshops on June 30 and August 27, 2025, to provide direction to the staff on this submittal. I would like to thank my colleagues on the dais for their participation at the workshops, their suggestions as we deliberated, and staff recommendations. As we're ready to begin, Mr. City Manager, we have temporary resolution 14300. Please read the statement.
The City of Tamarack has used the fire rescue assessment since 1997 to provide specific funding for the purpose of providing fire rescue services in the City of Tamarack. As the City Commission is aware, the fire rescue assessment has been determined to be an equitable and efficient methodology to use in apportioning the cost of fire rescue services to improved properties, thus reducing the overall burden on the ad valorem tax rate. The residential rate for FY 2026 will be $450 per dwelling, an increase of $30 from last year. The city recently conducted a study on the fire rescue assessment in 2023, and based upon calls for service and a 5-year budget forecast for the cost of providing fire rescue services, staff recommends the City Commission approve the rates that have been proposed and approved for publication at the July 9, 2025 preliminary fire assessment rate hearing, and subsequently advertised for public hearing on August 14, 2025. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Miss Assistant City Attorney, please read the title to the resolution.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Tamarack, Florida, relating to the provision of fire rescue services, facilities, and programs in the City of Tamarack, Florida, reimposing fire rescue assessments against assessed property located within the City of Tamarack for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2025, approving the rate of assessment, approving the assessment roll, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. This item was discussed at June 30, 2025 budget workshop. The preliminary rate of $450 was adopted at the July 9, 2025 City Commission meeting. For a timeline on the progression of this item, please turn your attention to the screen above. I will open the public hearing on temporary resolution number 14300. Is there anyone who wishes to speak on this item? Seeing none, public hearing on this item is closed. I will entertain a motion on temporary resolution number 14300.
Motion to adopt temporary resolution number 14300, establishing the fire service assessment rates for fiscal year 2026.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Wright. I have a second by Commissioner Patterson. Is there any discussion on this motion? Commissioner Bolton?
Will the manager have his staff tell us about the increase of $30 and why?
I can invite the deputy fire chief, but the essence of that, Commissioner, is based on the rate study that was conducted in 2023, and based on the forecasted expenses and the budget for the fire department, the rate to support that was sequenced to be an increase last year, an increase this year, and an increase in the following year. And this budget is either supplemented by the general fund or the fire assessment fee. It needs to be paid one way or another for the city to operate the fire rescue department and fire rescue services. So that's why it says in the resolution that to reduce the burden on the ad valorem taxes, this is a more equitable way of funding the city's fire rescue services.
And it is $450 per dwelling. Can you remind us how many dwelling units?
About 17,000?
Christine Kajus, Director of Financial Services, approximately 17,000 single-family homes for the single-family unit rate.
So it's essentially a revenue of $510,000, right, Mr. Manager?
The proposed fire assessment rate will generate revenue of approximately $17,996,342.
If we have 17,000 dwelling units and the increase is $30 per dwelling unit, then my question is, the increase is $510,000 per fiscal year. Yes?
There is,
It's about $800,000 difference between the 420 and the 450.
The difference of $30, yes, your math is correct, Commissioner.
Okay. And that is over 3 years?
That's for this year.
So $510,000 times 3 is $1.53 million over 3 years, right?
Next year's assessment has not been established yet, but it's part of the study. Is that what the study calls, additional?
the study, when we did the study last year, we opted for 420, which represented, I think, 93% of the cost of fire service. 450 was 100% of the cost of fire service. But since then, the cost of fire service has increased exponentially because of the increases in operating costs, which was more than we had anticipated, and the increase in personnel costs, which was way more than we anticipated. So we, without doing another study, this 450 will cover less than 100% of the fire service.
So from what I'm understanding, this year is $30 increase, but next year maybe more?
No. No, the rate will increase next year only if we do another study, which we usually do we usually do a study every 5 years.
Okay, manager, you said that this is over 3 years. So I'm trying to figure out if this is going to be an increase that remains the same for the next 3 years, so $510,000 this year, next year, and the other year, or is it an escalating cost?
Commissioner, the expectation, obviously, we have to do the rate study, but the expectation is that as the cost of the fire department go up, the rate will have to go up as well to satisfy that. So the expectation is yes.
Okay, and the resolution says this is to ease the burden on the ad valorem taxes. Can you tell us how?
Sure. So the fire rescue is funded by general fund, and obviously I can have the finance director explain that, but it's supported by general fund, and so general fund is either satisfied by the ad valorem taxes or this assessment fee. So if we don't do the assessment, then the cost will be covered by the ad valorem taxes, increasing the burden on that tax rate.
So, in essence, we would increase the ad valorem taxes, or we would keep it the same but just roll the cost over in the ad valorem tax?
You would have to find a way of funding the fire department or fire rescue operations in the ad valorem taxes. That's correct.
Okay. And staff looked at that, at doing that, or you just arbitrarily did a study?
No. The study itself is looking at every aspect of the fire rescue operation or the fire department. But the general fund, as is today, is barely covering the operational funding of the city services. So any reduction in this rate will change that equation on the general fund side.
Our options are to fund it with this non-ad valorem increase or fund it through ad valorem taxes. So I'm asking, if we fund the increase through ad valorem taxes, would we be increasing the millage rate or not?
You would have to find the millage rate to support that additional cost of operating. Yes. So the short answer is yes.
So then if we look at the millage rate side, we would either be funding it through millage rate by cutting other areas to keep the millage rate the same, or funding it in the ad valorem budget and increasing the millage rate.
You are correct, but at this point, the millage rate is what it is, so it cannot be changed.
So you'd have to find other ways to cut the budget to carry the cost in the ad valorem taxes versus the non-ad valorem if we did not go this route.
You're correct.
Okay. So it does not ease the burden on the ad valorem taxes if you found other ways in the ad valorem taxes in the general fund to reduce the cost.
You can say that for today, yes.
Okay.
But it will add additional burdens on the general fund expenditures. If you
But you'd
take away,
be decreasing funding somewhere else to increase this funding for the fire department. Therefore, it would balance out.
so the general fund's contribution to fire rescue fund will have to increase, and we would have to find that somewhere.
Got it. Thank you.
Seeing no one else wishing to speak on this item, City Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Daniel?
Yes.
Commissioner Bolton?
Yes.
Mayor Gomez?
Yes.
Commissioner Patterson?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you very much. temporary resolution 14301. Mr. City Manager, please read your statement.
The City of Tamarack has been used in a special assessment for the collection of stormwater utility management services fees since 2014. This assessment is an equitable and efficient method of allocating and collecting the stormwater utility management services fee assessed cost among all the parcels in the city. The rate per equivalent residential unit, also known as ERUs, for FY 2026 is $170.89 and is an increase of $4.98 or 3% over the previous year in accordance with our Code of Ordinances. Staff recommends the City Commission approve the rate that has been proposed and approved for publication at the July 9, 2025 preliminary stormwater utility management fee assessment rate hearing and subsequently advertised for public hearing on August 14, 2025. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Ms. Assistant City Attorney, please read the title of the resolution.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Tamarack, Florida, relating to the levy and collection of the city's stormwater management utility fee within the municipal boundaries of the City of Tamarack for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2025. Approving, confirming, and adopting the stormwater management utility fee and stormwater management utility fee roll, providing for other matters relating to the levy and collection of the stormwater management utility fee on the annual property tax bills, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. This item was discussed at the June 30, 2025 budget workshop. The preliminary rate of $170.89 was adopted at the July 9, 2025 City Commission meeting. For a timeline of the progression of this item, please turn your attention to the screen above. I will now open public hearing on temporary resolution number 14301. Anyone wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, public hearing is now closed. I will entertain a motion on temporary resolution number 14301.
Motion to adopt temporary resolution 14301, establishing the stormwater utility management services fee assessment rates for fiscal year 2026.
Second the motion. The motion by Commissioner Wright, the second by myself. Any discussion on the motion, Commissioner Bolton?
Manager, could have your staff explain the $4.98 or 3% increase?
Of course. Ms. Kajus, can you provide the basis for that increase?
Certainly. The stormwater utility ordinance calls for an increase of 3% or CPI on May of the fiscal year. And this year, the CPI was 2.4%. So therefore, the increase of $4.98 represents it's the CPI or 3%, whichever is higher. Therefore, the increase for this year is $4.98, which represents 3% of last year's rate.
Thanks.
Seeing no other requests for questions or discussion, City Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Patterson?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Daniel?
No.
Commissioner Bolton?
No.
Mayor Gomez?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes 3-2.
Moving to temporary resolution 14302. Mr. City Manager, please read your statement.
The City of Tamarack has been used in a special assessment for residential solid waste collection services since 2013. This assessment is an equitable and efficient method of allocating and collecting the residential solid waste collection services assessed cost among single-family residential type parcels. The residential rate for FY 2026 is $278.75 per residential dwelling unit receiving curbside pickup which is no change from fiscal year 2025. Staff recommends the City Commission approve the rate that has been proposed and approved for publication at the July 9, 2025 preliminary solid waste collection services assessment rate hearing and subsequently advertised for public hearing on August 14, 2025. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Ms. City Attorney, please read the title to the resolution.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. A resolution of the City of Tamarack, Florida, relating to the provision of residential solid waste collection services in the City of Tamarack, Florida, approving the assessment rate for residential solid waste collection services for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2024, imposing a residential solid waste collection assessment against assessed property located within the City of Tamarack for the fiscal year beginning on October 1st, 2024, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, and providing an effective date.
Thank you. This item was discussed at the June 30, 2025 budget workshop. The preliminary rate of $278.75 was adopted at the July 9, 2025 City Commission meeting. For a timeline on the progression of this item, please turn your attention to the screen above. I will open the public hearing on temporary resolution number 14302. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, public hearing is now closed. I will entertain a motion on temporary resolution number 14302.
Motion to adopt temporary resolution number 14302, establishing the residential solid waste services assessment rate for the fiscal year 2026.
Second the motion.
I have a motion by Commissioner Bolton. I have a second by Vice Mayor Daniel. Any discussion on this motion? Seeing none. City Clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor Gomez?
Yes.
Commissioner Bolton?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Commissioner Patterson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Daniel?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Temporary Resolution 14303. Mr. City Manager, please read your statement.
In 2012, the City Commission adopted the Public Nuisance Abatement Ordinance. As part of that ordinance, the City Commission authorized the use of special assessments for amounts billed but unpaid as of June 1st of the year following the abatement of the public nuisance. The city abated 7 or 8? 8 public nuisances between June 1st, 2024 and May 31st, 2025 on 5 properties, one of which the city's Code Compliance Division is agreed not to bill the property owner for. The remaining accounts are delinquent as of this date. City staff has prepared the special assessments against each property with unsettled liens, the total of which is $4,915.86 to be collected on the tax bills for fiscal year 2026. This is the 13th year using this type of assessment. Staff recommends the City Commission approve the public nuisance abatement special assessment that was approved for publication at the July 9, 2025 preliminary public nuisance abatement assessment hearing and subsequently advertised for public hearing on August 14, 2025. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Madam City Attorney, please read the title to the resolution.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Tamarack, Florida, relating to the provision of nuisance abatement on certain real properties by the city in accordance with Chapter 9, Article 2, Division 5 of the city's Code of Ordinances, approving the collection of a nuisance abatement special assessment on real property that has been specially benefited by the city's abatement of nuisances thereon, approving a nuisance abatement assessment roll, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. This item was discussed at the June 30, 2025 budget workshop. The preliminary nuisance abatement assessment of $5,184.82 was adopted at July 9, 2025 Commission meeting. I'm going to pause for clarification. That was what it was prior to? Okay.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. For the record, Jeff Streeter. The amount adopted at the July 9th meeting was higher because after that, the Community Development Department agreed not to bill for one of the abatements that they did. So that reduced the number of abatements from 8 to 7, and it also reduced the dollar amount. But so you're looking at a lesser amount for the final nuisance abatement, right?
I appreciate that. I just wanted you to say it because the next thing is go to the progression on the timeline, if you would please, and turn your attention to the screen above. So I think what you said makes it a little more clear for what is being looked at by the residents. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Public hearing on this item for temporary resolution 14303 is now open. And seeing nobody wishing to speak, it is now closed. I will entertain a motion on temporary resolution number 14303.
Motion to adopt temporary resolution number 14303, establishing the public nuisance abatement special assessment for fiscal year 2026.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Bolton. I have a second by Commissioner Wright. Any discussion on this motion? Seeing none, City Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Bolton?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Commissioner Patterson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Daniel?
Yes.
Mayor Gomez?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Temporary ordinance number 2599. This is the first public hearing for establishing the operating millage rate for fiscal year 2026. The second public hearing on temporary ordinance number 2599 will be held on Wednesday, September 24, 2025 at 5:05 p.m. Mr. City Manager, please read your statement.
In accordance with the truth in millage requirements of Florida statutes, the city is required to announce the percentage difference between the proposed millage rate and the rollback rate. As such, the following is read into the record. The proposed operating millage rate of 7.0000 mils for fiscal year 2026 is 0.4094 mils, or 6.21% more than the rollback rate of 6.5906 mils. That concludes my statement, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. Madam City Attorney, please read the title to temporary ordinance number 2599.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Tamarack, Florida, to establish and levy ad valorem taxes within the corporate limits of the City of Tamarack, Florida, for the tax year 2025, providing for the levy of ad valorem taxes in the amount of 7.0000 mils, based upon the taxable value of non-exempt real and personal property located within the city limits of the City of Tamarack, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you very much. This item was discussed at the June 30, 2025 budget workshop. The preliminary millage rate of 7.0000 was adopted at the July 9, 2025 commission meeting. For a timeline of the progression of this item, please turn your attention to the screen above. At this time, I will open the public hearing on temporary ordinance number 2599. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Please come forth. Please state your name. You have 3 minutes. Address, if you're not comfortable with the address, the city in which you live. And ladies and gentlemen, if we like what people say, we do this. If we don't, we do this. We don't want to make anybody uncomfortable for the comments they wish to say. Thank you.
Kate Johnson, Mainlands 4. I understand that the millage rate is staying the same as last year. However, we all know that if it's staying the same, we're really paying more taxes because property values go up. In addition, you are adding $35, from what I can tell, from what you've said on the other items. To me, if this commission truly wanted to do what was best for the taxpayers, you would lower the millage rate. And in order to do that, you might have to cut the budget. But we all know there are many places to cut the budget where things can be deleted, or taxes could actually either stay the same or go down. But anybody who's gotten a tax bill for next year already knows taxes went up. We're paying more. So now you're taking more in fire, and I don't begrudge them that. But from what I heard with the discussion, that's not going to be enough to pay what is needed. So why not cut the budget now in order to cover those expenses that you know are going to be coming in the future? I'm not sure that this commission stays within the budget as it is now. Have you stayed within this year's budget without going into savings? Or all of these extra initiatives and things that are being done that are coming out of city money, were they in the budget? Because I know that one in particular was budgeted for $20,000 and cost $200,000. So if this commission is not staying within budget, which any household has to do, then for emergencies, we will have no savings left for any critical issue that may come up that is needed, whether it's a hurricane or some main line break or something that cannot be considered at this point because it's an unknown. Isn't that what savings is for, to cover those unknowns? But if we're not staying within budget and we're going into savings, we are putting every resident in this city at risk for higher fees, more assessments, whatever the cost. So I would ask you to consider that as you go forward with this budget that you're going to be voting on, whether it stays or not. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, public hearing is now closed. I will entertain a motion to set the tentative millage rate.
Make a motion to set the tentative millage operating rate at 7.000.
We can't hear.
Sorry. I make a motion to set the tentative operating millage rate at 7.0000 mils, which is 0.4094 mils, or 6.21% more than the rollback rate of 6.906 mils.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Wright. I have a second by Vice Mayor Daniel. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Daniel,
Yes.
Mayor Gomez,
Yes.
Commissioner Bolton,
No.
Commissioner Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Patterson.
No.
Thank you. Motion passes 3-2.
City Attorney, a point of clarification. Madam City Attorney,
Yes.
would you like to make a statement?
Well, I just conferred with the city manager. This is an item that requires a supermajority vote in favor because you're actually raising the tax rate. So it's my understanding that a 3-2 vote is not approving the.
Sorry, we're not raising the tax rate.
I'll let the finance director
Ms. Kajust or Mr. Streeter?
explain that.
Good evening again. For the record, Jeff Streeter, Budget Manager. A millage rate, the millage rate will ultimately require a supermajority vote, which is of this body, which would be 4 out of 5. But for passage of a tentative millage rate and a tentative budget, that can pass with a normal majority. But at the final meeting, at the final public hearing, that will require 4 out of 5 votes.
Okay, so today we are fine?
Today, you can adopt a
We have
tentative
adopted a
millage
tentative millage rate.
and a tentative budget with a majority vote.
Okay.
Can you please explain the difference of what we're voting on today and what we will be voting on in the future?
What
Regards
you're voting, sure. What you're voting on today is the tentative millage rate, and that's the millage rate that is establishing what's going to be included in the newspaper ad. That when you make a change to the millage rate, you either have to advertise for a notice of a tax increase or a notice of a budget hearing. The only way you can notice just for a budget hearing is if the millage rate is equal to or less than the rollback rate. Anything above the rollback rate requires a notice of tax increase. And the millage rate that you're setting tonight is for purposes of establishing what's going to go in that newspaper ad. In the budget
right, but it's not a
summary for that.
vote for increase in the millage rate. It's just what's going to be advertised just in case.
What you're voting on tonight would not increase the millage rate. That would be the final vote on September 24th.
Thank you. Just wanted to make that clear, because then we'll get a lot of feedback that we're raising the millage rate and we're not.
Thank you very much. City Clerk? Motion carried 3-2. Thank you. All right, moving to temporary ordinance number 2600. This is the first public hearing to establish fiscal year 2026 operating budget, capital budget, and financial policies. A second public hearing will be held for temporary ordinance number 2600 will be held on Wednesday, September 24, 2025 at 5:05 p.m. Mr. City Manager, please read your statement.
In 2012, the City Commission adopted the I'm on the wrong page. My apologies. One second. Okay. The tentative operating and capital budget for fiscal year 2026 is $293,969,914, which is $53,633,690 more than the amended budget of $240,336,224 for fiscal year 2025. The tentative general fund budget, which is the primary fund for providing governmental services such as our contract with BSO, general and administrative services, public services, and parks and recreation, is $114,182,731, which is $12,038,174 more than the amended budget of $102,144,557 for fiscal year 2025. In addition, the financial policies are included as part of the adoption of the annual budget. These financial policies are an integral part of our long-term financial planning for the city. These policies set parameters for operating management, including establishing reserves for specific purposes, establishing accounts management and financial planning policies, and establishing policies on economic resources. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Madam City Attorney, please read the title to temporary ordinance number 2600.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Tamarack, Florida, adopting the operating budget, revenues, and expenditures, the capital budget, and the financial policies for fiscal year 2026, providing for conflicts, providing for Scrivener's errors, severability, and providing for an effective date. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. This item was discussed at both the June 30 and August 27, 2025 budget workshops. For a timeline on the progression of this item, please turn your attention to the screen above. I will now open public hearing on temporary ordinance number 2600. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Good. 3 minutes, name, address. Okay, thank you.
Hi, thanks. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mona Perlman, and I'm from Granville in Tamarack. I'm a little confused because I just came in to understanding this. Do you have on your, well, when you adopt the budget, will you have it on your website so that we can see it?
The proposed budget is already on the website.
Oh,
and
it is?
Everything that we're discussing tonight is on the city's website as part of the agenda package for the commission meeting. So it's all available. We can tell you exactly where to find them. One of our staff members can
Okay,
can
I would
assist.
like that.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak on this item? Seeing no one else wishing to speak on this item is now closed. I'll entertain a motion to set tentative operating budget, capital budget, and financial policies for fiscal year 2026. This item is failing for a lack of a motion and a second. Thank you.
I'll give a motion.
I didn't say it.
Okay. I make a motion to set the tentative operating budget, capital budget, and financial policies as proposed.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion by Vice Mayor Daniel, and I have a second by Commissioner Wright. Is there any discussion on this motion? Commissioner Patterson?
Thank you, Mayor. I have a couple questions regarding the budget as presented. I guess through the manager, Ms. Kajus or whomever can answer some of these questions. I'm kind of accustomed to seeing a full budget, so I'm looking at a condensed version of the budget separated by funds. And it leaves a lot of room for questions. I don't know how much anything is. It's a very high level, hey, this is how much we have here, this is how much we have there, this is how much we're spending there, this is what we're anticipating here. I kind of like to know details, so I'm a little dissatisfied with the way in which the budget is presented for a vote. My first question, though, is everywhere that I see appropriation from fund balance means that we are supplementing an area, right? The building department is an enterprise fund. It should be self-sustaining, isn't that correct?
It's a special revenue fund.
And it should be self-sustaining,
It
right?
is, yes.
I'm looking at the budget and it says that there is a $2 million appropriation from the fund balance going to the building department.
It's their own fund balance. It's a fund balance from the building fund.
So you see where this is confusing, because public art fund is there's 144,000 coming from an appropriation fund balance. Is that their own fund too?
Yes.
So so everything here that says appropriation from fund balance is the respective funds balance, not the overall general funds balance.
Not the general fund.
What is the fund balance? What is the general fund's current reserve?
I don't have that number right in front of me. It's approximately somewhere in the region of 61 million. If I remember exactly, the unreserved fund balance was 57 million, somewhere in the region of 57 million.
Okay. I think it's important to have those numbers when we're having a budget discussion for sure, because there's a lot of misconception that we're pulling from savings to run the operation. No. So I think it's important that we clarify exactly what's happening as it pertains to the fiscal management of the city's business.
Yeah, I apologize, but we did have it in the workshop. It was just not a part of this package, and I can get those numbers for you.
So
Before the meeting is over.
$61 million sounds like we're pretty healthy. Is that accurate?
I would say yes, although we are looking to utilize, we have some amount of that fund balance is being utilized this year. And in this budget, we have approximately 28 million that we're also looking to take out of that fund balance.
Staff is proposing that we increase, I see a slide in the presentation that says we should increase a disaster recovery fund from $1 million to $3 million. I know you guys proposed $10 million the last time, so you guys reduced to $3 million. When's the last time we had to trigger those dollars in the past?
We have not had to because we've consistently been able to utilize FEMA for the expenses when we have a disaster and we need to recover those funds. We opted this year to increase that because we have had information to suggest that FEMA will no longer be there, so we wanted to prepare for that eventuality.
How much have we had to recover from FEMA in the past?
We have recovered, I think, from Hurricane Irma, it was somewhere in the region of $5 million.
How long ago was Hurricane Irma?
This was 2017.
I see costs for the fire department. I don't see the costs for the police department.
The contract with BSO is within the general fund budget. BSO, it's a division in the general fund. They're approximately 23 million. 23 million, correct? Yes. Police services, you see police services within the general fund of 24,817,826. That covers BSO, it covers, our crossing guards and some other miscellaneous.
What's the increase this year?
2.5 million.
I see that we removed Martin Luther King celebration costs. Martin Luther King?
We, these at Parks and Rec is not with us, but that came to us from the Parks and Sherry's here, from the Parks and Rec department, and we discussed it. We had the discussion when we brought up the list at the October 27th meeting, and the August 27th meeting, sorry, and that was the. So the thought was not to eliminate Martin Luther King, but to reduce it.
Hi, good evening, Mayor, City Commission. Sherry Wilson, Assistant Director of Parks and Recreation. Yes, the idea was to reduce the funds for the event, but still have it and move it over to the community center. And I believe that was why our director was going to reduce it.
So we're reducing dollars allocated to the Parks Department for purposes of celebrations of various sorts. For what reason exactly? To balance the budget? What reason did we need?
Yeah, part of it was to help balance the budget, but Parks and Recreation was tasked, along with the consultant, to look at all the events that happened within Parks and Rec and see which ones are still valid and which one could be reduced. If you recall, August 27th, we gave you a list, and that list was approximately 102,000. And there was discussions where it was explained why some of these items were being reduced. And there was extensive discussion, and we, instead of making, some of them we put back, and these are the ones that was left, amounting to 87,490.
Okay. I kind of skipped over a question that I had regarding the police costs. So there was a $2.5 million increase, you say. In terms of percentage, what's the increase?
What percentage was it? It's about 10%.
10% increase?
Yeah.
And that's in line with our agreement?
Yes. You wanted to say something?
Well, I just wanted to say that this year is unique in a way that the sheriff has just signed a new contract with the employees, new labor contract with the employees, with the personnel that brings increases to their compensation, and so that's been reflected. So that's. So it's about $1.8 million extra than the normal routine increases compared to past years, to reflect the new labor contract.
So it's more than it's supposed to be?
It's about $1.8 million more than its normal increase, yes.
Okay, I saw something in the newspaper yesterday that said another 8 people got fired from BSO. I don't know, because I haven't heard anything. I haven't spoken to anybody. No, I'm not clear on what's going on, but paying for more salaries, we lost people. I'm a little confused.
So the sheriff, I believe, had a press conference today, and he announced a number of terminations and disciplines, and so I don't have an exact count of that with me right now, but this number, the $1.8 million, it represents the change in the contract price based on the new negotiated union agreement, and it's outside of the terminations or separations. It's a reflection of the entire personnel complement for Tamarack. So those separations are managed within the contract separately, and that number does not impact that.
Forgive me, Captain. This is the first time I'm hearing anything about the contract. I've not been briefed on anything, so I don't have any understanding. I don't know if my colleagues do, but I have no understanding. And can I have my 2 minutes, please?
Yes.
These are real questions. I have no information with respect to a labor contract. I'm seeing that we just, another X amount of people got fired. I'm really confused.
Okay, Captain David Franks, Chief of Police, Tamarack District for BSO. As it relates to the contract, the sheriff brought forth a study of salary study that was done through an independent company. That company came back to show where BSO was a relation to other departments in the area, and we were at the bottom of the pay scale compared to all the other agencies in similar size and within the county. And that's where the additional cost became for the salary study. Now, when it comes to the termination, this is related to the incident that occurred over here in Tamarack. So the 2 sergeants that were terminated have been replaced. They just were notified today, so those positions have already been replaced. And I believe it's like the captain who was terminated, he has been replaced. And the other deputies, they will be replaced as they're bringing people in. So they have terminated, but they are on par to get, we already put personnel requisitions in to to replace those individuals back to the district so that we're back to staffing.
So in terms of service level, is the city receiving service level at 100% in accordance with the contract?
Yes, they will be having the minimum standards for the deputies every day. So the minimum number of staffing will be on the road every day to ensure that coverage for every zone and for the detectives and that stuff during the week and things like that.
Even if we've got to pull from Pompano or we need to pull from any other organization until the positions are filled?
I will ensure that the road is covered, and it should be covered internally. We do have enough staff here. We're not below to any type of critical level or anything like that. We have enough staff in the district itself to continue our staffing levels at this time.
But the contract calls for 90 bodies, 92 bodies, right?
Correct, 92 bodies.
How many do we have?
I believe with the terminations, I believe we now, I just got the numbers back. I think we're going to be down about 4 or 5 vacancies with the deputies itself.
You said
we
four?
just,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
with
You said
the ones
four.
that just got terminated.
You said 4 or 5 agent deputies?
Deputies, positions, but they have already put the requisitions in to have them filled by new hires and either transfers in.
Okay, and does that include people that are suspended and administrative leave and the other bundle of folks that were supposed to be added to the allocation from last year?
That would include the 9 additional positions with the vacancies. The suspensions now, after the discipline has been given, they will do their suspensions and they'll be back on the road. It's only the few that were actually terminated. We had a couple that did get transferred out, but we are going to try to backfill them as soon as possible.
You mentioned a press release, or I heard somebody say something about a press release. Is there any are we going to be informed on the press release?
There was a press conference by the sheriff earlier today, and so then the city of Tamarack has issued a press release in line with the conclusion of those findings.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to say press conference. So I'm sorry. The press conference was regarding Tamarack?
Yes, ma'am, at 10 a.m. this morning.
Anyone want to tell us what it's about?
The sheriff basically went through an animation of the incident that occurred and then discussed that he had levied discipline amongst 21 employees.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Wright?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Going back to the police question, because I had it highlighted in going through the budget. So we had city manager clarified, we had a 10% increase.
Approximately, yes.
Approximately 10%. Is that 2.5 over, you said the previous cost was 21 million?
I just wanted to explain a little bit about how the contract works, in that BSO is required by May 1st each year to send us what their budget is going to be for the following year. So that was about 23 million. It was about 20 million the year before, about 2.5 million. So that's why we said 10%. And as we go to the following year, we're paying them based on that budget. However, if they have vacancies, they're required to send us a credit for those vacancies. So they would say, don't pay me each quarter. They look at all vacancies that they have, and then they send us a vacancy credit.
I understand the nuances, but you said basic math, 2.5 million, 10% would be 25 million. That's basic math. You said 10% is 2.5. I can tell you basic math, 10%, 2.5 million. That is 10% of 25 million automatically. Yes. So it's more than 10%. It's a lower number. So when it comes to numbers, I know it's a little more than 10%. Why I'm asking is that I see that the sheriff, based on media accounts, were having an issue with their field where there was a cap. The contract can't exceed 5%. Do we have that cap?
We do. Well, and it's still it will continue to be part of our upcoming contract.
Do we have a cap in our contract?
We do.
What is that number?
It's 5%.
So we can't exceed 5%. So even without having a negotiation, without talking to
Within the
sheriff-
contract year.
Sorry?
Within the contract year.
Within the contract year. But this is obviously more than 10%, which exceeds the 5%. I think the issue the sheriff was having with their field is that the fact that the contract exceeded what the cap was. And please let me be clear, I'm always in support of paying law enforcement officers more. I just want to understand the nuances for budget purposes. Because when I read the article, the sheriff said the salary study revealed that BSO officers are paid 19.4% below the market average minimum. This is the sheriff's words. So if we go up more than 10% this year, obviously the officers are still not at the market average that the sheriff is saying.
It's a 3-year plan based on the sheriff's presentation to catch the deputy pay to, market rate of today.
So the cost of BSO is going to go higher next year as well.
It will most likely, yes, because the next year's implementation of the pay adjustments will be reflected in our consideration for next year.
But we haven't had the negotiation with BSO as yet.
Not yet.
So how can we budget something we haven't had negotiation for? Say if we might say we want to give officers the full 19%.
So our contract with BSO expires at the end of this month. We're in the process of these conversations, and then we will bring that to the City Commission. And at that time, you will be considering a brand new number and a brand new contract.
But we're going to approve a budget for contract negotiations. We're going to start after. That's kind of what I'm trying to,
Correct, and that's a preliminary. Well, that's a number we have to include in the budget based on the sheriff's projections, and so we don't have another number to include in there. So we have to include that number.
So you've included what what BSO has said would be the increase for next fiscal year.
That's correct.
We've already included that, which is more like 10%. It's more like 11%. If you do the math, 2.5 million over 21 gives me more like 11.7. So that's an increase of 11.7. Again, always in favor of paying officers more. Just want a clarification on that because I know the contract negotiation is coming up and I see what's been happening in the news. I've been following it and reading it because I know it's going to come in front of us. So going back to Commissioner Patterson's questions, I had that highlighted because that was very important to me. The events, I think we had a discussion. You guys had eliminated Juneteenth and MLK, and I was very adamant that we should not eliminate those events because
and we took it out from
we stand on the shoulders of those people. As anyone who is immigrant of color, Juneteenth and MLK, we know that those people paved the way for us. So those are events that should be in the community, and those are part of American history. So I thought we had clarified we're going to bring back Juneteenth and we're going to keep MLK the same.
Juneteenth is not on the list.
Yeah, but I saw we reduced MLK by 7 from 13 to 3, a difference of 10.
Yeah.
I saw that in there. Obviously, the other stuff, I mentioned I'm not in favor of giving myself additional benefits. That's something I was adamant about at that meeting. No additional benefits, as elected officials. I'm going to echo that sentiments again. What did I have highlight? I don't know. I think that was highlighted. Appropriations from the fund balance. You just mentioned we had 61 million. You mentioned in the previous workshop we had 61 million, and I think our capital projects were like 34 million, or 28. You said, right?
They're 28, yes.
So we'll have a remainder of like 34 million.
Well, we're also in FY24, and I think we budgeted 19 million for FY24 this year. So that fund balance was as at September 30, 2024, when the year ended. So FY24 that we're in now, we had also budgeted about 19 million to come out of fund balance. And the year is not yet ended, so we don't know if we're going to add to or, because, there are some expenses. So we may add to the fund balance. It may be reduced. We're not sure. But we had budgeted 19 million for a capital project for FY24, and then we have another 28 million in this budget for FY25, and we have another 28 million in this budget for FY26.
So what are we going to have in the fund balance at the end of the budget year? What amount? Is it 61 or is it going to be 34?
It's going to be less.
It'll be less than the 61.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Those are all my questions.
Vice Mayor Daniel?
I just wanted to clarify and thank Commissioner Patterson for bringing up what we discussed, I believe it was last commission meeting or 2 commission meetings ago, just the clarity, because to find out what's going on as a commissioner from people in the community, it's not good. Like, we should be aware of what's going on. We should be told, not just one person on the commission, but everyone. And then to vote on something that impacts knowledge that we weren't given, it's not right. And we've discussed this before. So to your best of your ability, I'm asking that we get information, all of us at the same time. If there's a meeting, we all go, or no one goes. Or one of us said we can't go, but we all give the opportunity to go. I also agree with that if it's increased for the police and they're getting more salary, absolutely. But I don't even know if we can say that's where the money is going to. You can assume. And I know as a school principal, I can say I can have the minimum amount of people. You know, a teacher has to be there, a teacher has to be there. If teacher's not there, guess what? You put a substitute there, or I go in there. But somebody has to be there. So I think that's very unfair, and I'm hoping that in the new contract, there's no such thing. If we have 92, we get 92. But I was glad to hear that we get a credit. But if safety is paramount, then make it paramount. Thank you.
Commissioner Bolton?
Manager, are we at the end of the contract with BSO?
At the end of September, yes. The current contract expires.
And the current contract number is?
$21 million, 21 and some change.
Okay, I'm only asking because I've heard various numbers, so I just want to be sure. What is the number?
This year, I think we budgeted approximately.
Reclaiming my time.
For us. About 20.5 million, approximately 21 million is what we budgeted this year. It's whatever BSO sent to us to say that it's going to be their budget for FY25, that's what we budget. So they send us a breakdown of their expenses, and that's the total, and that's what we pay on a monthly basis. And then whenever there's a vacancy credit, we take the credit.
So we budgeted 21 million last year?
Yes.
Okay. So this year we're budgeting $23 million, which is $2.5 million more thereabout.
Yes, thereabout.
Okay, so now it's going to be a 10% increase.
Approximately.
Okay. So manager, you're saying that you were mentioning something that it is 5% cap within the contract period, or because this is a new contract, it's a brand new negotiation and the 5% does not matter anymore?
Okay.
5% will be part of the new contract, so that the cost of the service will not go beyond 5%.
So let me understand. So if we have a contract in place, it calls for 5% increase each year over the period of time that we have a contract?
It can go up to 5%.
No more than 5% when we have a contract in tap.
Correct.
So I'm saying the contract is expired now.
Right.
So does the 5% increase exist, or it's a brand new negotiation and the 5% does not matter anymore?
The existing 5% expired or will expire at the end of this month, and then we'll start with a new baseline, which the 5% will have will be relevant to that.
Okay. So that's what I'm asking. So we're starting a brand new contract at $23 million, and then a 5% cap supposedly will be in that agreement, and then it can escalate up to 5% over the next 5 years?
individual years, I believe.
Yeah, I just want to point out that since the contract is coming to an end, what we have is an estimate of what it will cost next year. So we're budgeting what the anticipated cost, but we're not yet contracted for that cost.
How do we get that anticipated cost?
Because it's a budget that we got from BSO.
Okay,
On May 1st.
so ahead of negotiations, they sent you some anticipated costs, and they're saying, we anticipate that you might go 10 to 15%, let's say, in the new contract.
Yes, because they look at what their costs are for personnel and operating costs and some capital for Tamarack, and they presented to us in a letter, which they call it, we refer to as a demand letter, and that number is what we budget because that's the number that they anticipate that they will spend.
And did they explain the cost with the numbers?
Yes, there's a breakdown.
Okay, so where's the breakdown?
That letter
is
provided to us, but we normally don't make it part of the budget because, it's
Why?
presented as.
If somebody is asking for $2.5 million, take BSO out of it and take law enforcement out of it, because then people are going to start this political argument that, they're attacking law enforcement. And that's not, my heart where BSO is concerned. However, if you're going to dish out $2.5 million to somebody, then you need to explain what that $2.5 million is and where it's going. So you need to have the backup in the budget. What are we voting on? We can't just arbitrarily give $2.5 million. This is not a $1 million mistake on Colony West. This is $2.5 million being handed out to another agency. So show me where the money is going.
So we can definitely show that, and as I was explaining, this year, the difference or the reason that it's going up to that extent is about 8.7% change alone on the new negotiated contract. So the amount of contract impact on the city's budget is about 8.7%. For staffing or for new negotiated salaries only. And then the remaining part is the annual increase of providing the same level of service based on what we have today. But we can definitely provide that breakdown where it's coming from.
The staff can provide that information if you require.
And I'm assuming BSO has their own PIO?
They do.
Okay, so why did their PIO not put out a statement? Why did our PIO have to put out a statement? Or the statement that the city put out specifically says on behalf of the Tamarack City Commission and the entire city of Tamarack. I did not draft this statement, so where did it come from?
So it's a statement that was put out by the city staff.
Where did they get it? Because if it says the city commission, then a member of the city commission must have contributed to this statement.
Right.
So who?
So the original version of that, Commissioner Bolton, that came from the mayor, and then we took that original draft and then we massaged it into a more city statement on the changes on the events and the
stick it in. So you're saying that you took a press release from the mayor, you seeded it to PIO, and then PIO put their spin on it and put it out as if it is our words. That's what you're saying. Because this mayor has said in the past that no member of the commission can give the manager or the city attorney any power by themselves. So how is this a double standard? How? Because if Hans drafts a resolution by himself, it's a problem. And you're going to take a press release from this mayor so that it looks like I am writing it to have flowers for BSO? And I do, but not everybody at BSO. So who are you taking directives from? One person or the entire commission?
Well, the entire commission, the
So
council
who did
members.
she send that press release to?
Commissioner, the city's reasoning for having that press release is to.
Not the city. She sent it to somebody. Is it you or directly to the PIO?
I received it.
Okay. And then you sent it to the PIO.
Correct.
Which means you're taking a press release from her and you're beating to her drum and you're sending it to the PIO, and then now the PIO is writing as if it's coming from the commission. And we had a discussion at Colony West, and that discussion simply said that one person does not speak on behalf of this commission. Do you remember that conversation?
I do.
So if you're coming from that conversation and 3 people are supposed to give you the direction, why are you taking direction from one person?
You're not wrong in your assessment. You're
Excuse
correct.
me. You're incorrect.
Mayor,
I'm speaking.
I understand that.
And that is also a part of the rules. When somebody has the floor, you let them have the floor.
I'm not interrupting you.
Show
for
that respect.
I'm letting you speak.
so you're correct in terms of.
You don't show respect, Kate Johnson. You don't speak from the audience.
Excuse
you do
me.
that all the time.
She did not speak, Commissioner Bolton.
She just did.
No, she did not. No, she did
Okay,
not.
it is this one at the front, this minion at the front. The other one that's on your payroll.
There's no one on my payroll. Get your crap together. Ladies and gentlemen, we do not talk from the audience. You were asked to come to the microphone when the time was appropriate. There's no speaking from the audience at this time. Commissioner Bolton, you are aware that we do not talk back to the audience, so you can continue to say your twisted speech as you wish. You have a few more moments.
It is not a twisted speech.
Go ahead.
It is not. You are trying to make this thing political about you and one person, and I'm not going to have it. I will not sit here and have you speak on behalf of me. It is not going to happen. This commission speaks as a body. You don't speak on behalf of me. Period. Never, ever let this happen again. And if you do it again, you are on the chopping block, Mr. Manager.
Point of clarification. At that meeting, there was a complaint that the mayor did not put out a statement after the last incident. And at that meeting, it was discussed that as the mayor will put out a statement. So in order to not have anybody witch about it again, the mayor prepared a statement. And it was an inclusive statement, just generally supporting that we were happy that the words of the city of BSO were done. He said he would do it. The sheriff did it. He had his transparency. He let us know. And we were very happy that we now have our new captain. And we are confident that we will have a good, safe, successful police force under our District 7 Captain David Franks. And I was being inclusive to include everybody. It is a shame that this commission has such a difficult attitude problem. And so
you are
the city,
speaking. So
city,
the clerk,
no.
We are
This is
directing
a
the clerk
budget
to
meeting.
start
No,
your time. You
doing
have 5 minutes to speak. Take your 5 minutes now.
You are not the mayor. Deal with it. So, city manager, did you not get that letter? And did you try to put it out there?
Direct your staff.
No.
Direct your staff to
This
clock
is not
her.
your playground, Commissioner. This is a point of clarification.
It's the rule. You don't get to speak 20 minutes.
The budget.
It is the rule.
Control yourself.
It is the rule. You do not get to speak 20 minutes.
In recess, it's 6:24. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 6:30 and we are resuming our meeting. City Clerk? And this is? We are currently being handed the letter from BSO that was sent to the city on May 1, 2025. Thank you, City Clerk. Thank you, BSO. Right. So at this time, I'm going to take my 5 minutes now for the budget item. Captain Frank, can you please do us a favor and explain what true up is with BSO, and then that the staffing levels again are always complete? Will you please just clarify?
Yes, ma'am. Captain Frank's BSO. Basically, it means that we're always going to maintain our staffing levels. If we have to bring people in from the outside and to bring those levels up, we will always maintain the levels for the district so that there's always people on the road and that the public safety is never brought down to any levels that is unsafe. There will always be zones covered, and if I can, even have an additional out there if possible. But we will always make sure and ensure that the city is covered, and we will not go below. I apologize to give the exact wording on the true up, how it's defined, but we do come up to the levels, and we maintain the minimum of 20 on every day.
So the true up, as my understanding is, if we have a position that is not filled at the financial capacity at the end of the contract, we will be reimbursed for that amount. Is that correct?
I'm sorry. Yeah, we use the words vacancy credits. I do apologize on that. Yes, there are vacancy credits. Anytime there is a PCN, there a position control that is open, for all the time that it is open, we do reimburse the city back that amount for the time that they're not there.
Thank you. And is this a correct statement, City Manager? You wish to say something?
No, I mean, I was just going to confirm that we recently received about $80,000 for vacancy credits for the past couple months.
Correct. And I believe there's another credit coming, if I'm not mistaken. There is another one coming. So they are reimbursing the city for those times that are not there.
Thank you very much. And is this a correct statement? The contract expires at the end of next month. We are entering a new contract. And we have been given notice, which you just have provided to us, that since services are going up and we have to budget now, that is the reason for putting this higher amount budget number in the budget. Doesn't mean that we are going to settle for it or sign for it, but at least we are prepared for it. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Kajus, can you please explain in the numbers a little more? How much is in our capital improvement, which is our reserve or our fund balance? How much money went in 24? How much is budgeted for 25? How much is in 26? And how much remains?
It was 58 million. It was 58 million. That was the unrestricted fund balance for FY24. We budgeted approximately 19 million for FY25. In addition, we are budgeting approximately 28 million this year for FY2026.
So mathematically, that leaves us 11 million in the unrestricted fund balance?
Yes, ma'am.
And when the unrestricted fund balance is going to our capital improvement projects, is that correct?
Yes, that's what we're utilizing for CIP.
Can you explain what a capital improvement project is?
These are all the projects that we have out there for the walls, for building the walls, for building the parks, building the East Side Community Center, and we have a few other projects that makes up our CIP.
Thank you. I have been vocal about this at all our meetings. I am not in support of our current budget in the manner in which it is. I believe that there is a reason for keeping it at 7 mils, and that the increase of taxable value does go to help with all the increased costs of goods, services. I do believe that we are short on key personnel, whether it's our building department, public services, community development, code enforcement. I think we need more money going to our employees and helping our employees do their jobs better. I have said this time and again, we have 74,000 people in our city, and we're still running at an employee rate of about 411, which is about a person and a half to 2 people shy of where we should be for a city this size. And which is why I think we're having a little difficulty meeting the expectations of our customer service, second to none. I do not agree to some of the services or the programs that are being cut from Park and Rec or being transferred to something different. I received an email today about somebody upset that we have now stopped a computer course for some of our seniors. There are certain other things that we're cutting out, like Fast Track, because we're told, oh, the program exists somewhere else. Baloney, because I'm getting residents who are telling me they have no aftercare program for their kids, and we have just cut out these programs. I cannot accept this budget the way it is, and I will not accept this budget the way it is. And I also do not agree with the increases that were put in for personal gain at the August 27 budget meeting. So for those reasons, and probably plenty of others, I am not going to approve this budget. Thank you. Vice Mayor Daniel.
Thanks. Captain, so glad to have you here. I've heard a lot of good things about you. And I heard you very informed. Question, how often are we at the minimal level this year? How often it's probably you said there's a minimal level for us to stay safe, a critical level.
Well, when I say,
critical level.
Apologies, Captain Franks, BSO. When I talk about minimum staffing, we do that on a daily basis. We have to have X amount of deputies on the road every day, which is 20, which means we cover every zone and have 2 supervisors that cover within a 24-hour period. Now, that also does not include, the detectives and things like that on the road at that time. Now, if they're there, they can be counted toward that minimum, but the actual standard is to make sure we have that amount for proper staffing so that every zone is covered and that we are out there so that the public is served.
So on average, I'm not sure if you're able, being that you're new, on average, how many times were we at that level instead of the maximum level, which defining maximum of the amount of people we pay for in the contract?
Actually, we were just at 100% staffing, and we just came down a few with the terminations and the transfer of a person to the DUI task force and another person being promoted to sergeant. But before that, we were actually at full staffing.
Yeah, but I'm saying because it's done daily, so say 365 days. What number of days we're not at the maximum level as I defined, or what percentage of the year are we not at the maximum level?
I do not have that information.
Yeah, if you could,
Vice Mayor.
if you could let me. I'm not sure if anyone else is interested, but I'm interested in knowing in the future. And if the minimum amount of deputies or BSO staff members that's all we need to be safe, why are we paying for more?
Well, when I talk about the minimum staffing is basically we consider road patrol. The minimum staffing is not detectives. The minimum staffing is not administrative staff. The minimum standard doesn't cover the community policing, the extra units that we use for crime suppression team, all of those. Those are in addition to what we consider the minimum staffing for the road. The road has the minimum number. So when I talk about minimums and maximums, it's a little bit of a misnomer in how it's brought up. So the minimum staffing for us by contract, which is written in the contract, would be the 20 deputies in a 24-hour period. That means what is the absolute minimum people working at that time in a 24-hour period in order to provide the services for the city, for policing. But now, during the other times, based on schedules and everything else, we have detectives who then follow up on the cases that are found out during the day. We would have our crime suppression team that would be out there hitting specific targeted type of crimes. our crime prevention unit, which does a lot of the community policing, provides the security here at Lake City Hall during the meetings and all of those type of things. Those are in addition to the actual minimum staffing. When we talk about the minimum staffing for the district is when we meet that number, which would be the 92 total positions that would be covered and hired and brought in. And that's one of the reasons for the salary study, is so that the sheriff's office can now go out and recruit and retain more deputies, so that we're not losing them to other departments like Palm Beach Sheriff's Office and other departments who are paying more than us. And
Yeah, I'm all for the increase in staff, pay here, BSO, the city, the school board, everywhere. I think we all need more pay just to live in South Florida. So totally not against that. That's 100% with you on that one. My thing is, if the minimum is 20, right?
Correct.
On the road, we pay for 92, say 10% of that is administrative, I guess?
You would have a chief, executive officer, and a lieutenant. That's your administrative staff. We have 9 sergeants, and then we run 80 deputies. And then we also have community service aides, which are not counted in the minimum staffing. Of the 80 deputies and sergeants, those are the ones for covering road patrol for minimum. Because we have 9 zones that are covered, we ensure that the 9 zones are covered, as well as the supervisor for those 9 deputies. And then the next shift would come on, and that's where you would get the 20 deputies. So you would have 9 deputies and a supervisor would be the minimum staffing. If we have additional staffing, we would put them out there.
Sorry to cut you off, but that means that we could be operating at about 30% on a given day. Meaning, because only 20, so when people come up here and they say, oh, we're at minimum, that means all you need is 20 people out of 92.
Well, it's when you're now talking about staffing. So you have 4 shifts, which you are covered on there. Each shift consists of 14 deputies each. You have 56 of the deputies are assigned to the shifts, along with 1 sergeant per shift, along with also administrative sergeants, and that's the road patrol contingency or contingent. So you have 56 deputies that are assigned to road patrol. Of the 56, when you have 14 that are assigned, you may have people that are on annual leave, you may have people out on sick leave, you may have people on suspension, workman's comp, however that may be. Basically, what we're talking about, the minimum standard, is that we will, of the 14, there will be 9 deputies there, and a supervisor will be provided for that shift. And then during the 24-hour period, it will be that inclusive of the 20 deputies who will then provide the service to the city to ensure that the road is covered. If we have extra, then we will have them out also patrolling.
Right, I get it. Just in the future, when we get reports, instead of saying minimum, if we could just say the amount, so we know, it's only 20.
I understand. It can be confusing how it is of what minimum and maximums are. It's a kind of an interesting way of putting it.
Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager.
Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, I also want to bring a little bit of a update to that conversation, that today, you're correct, it takes 20 staff members for a 24-hour period, which is next to impossible to calculate, but we do it somehow to make sure that we're in compliance on a single-day basis. Now, going forward in the new contract, one of the things that we're asking for is to change that 20-hour period to a 12-hour period, so that we can accurately calculate the minimum staffing. And in addition to that, we also want to look at the positions that are included in that minimum staffing. Some of the office positions do not need to count towards that minimum staffing, because they add no value to the visibility in the community, on the streets. And so those are some of the improvements. We've already been talking to the major, and we're also going to be talking to Captain about that. And so that's going to be part of the next contract consideration.
Point of clarification, Mayor. Can I ask a couple questions, Manager, regarding the discussion that was happening earlier, because there was an email that went out yesterday, and it sparked quite a few questions for me. And it seems like this is the only form in which it's already come up, so I want to get a little bit more clarification on what happened, how it happened, and how we can ensure that it doesn't happen again. I think it's important that you provide clarification on a meeting that happened yesterday. There was a meeting that you, and I understand the mayor, attended with BSO that I know I wasn't invited to. When my residents call and ask questions about service levels, I can care less about how much we're paying BSO, frankly. We need police services, period. So whatever it costs to keep my residents safe is the cost. My question, though, is when my residents have questions, by the grace of God, that triple homicide didn't happen in my district. Because I'm telling you right now, it would have been a problem if I wasn't a part of the discussions. Yesterday, there was a meeting. I don't think anyone on this commission was invited to that meeting. Per the contract, who is the governing person between this $20-something million contract and this organization?
From a contract perspective, the city administration, city manager, and the staff are in charge of the contract administration. Now, from a collective perspective, obviously, these elected officials have the ultimate role in making sure that law enforcement services meet the demands or the needs of the community.
So how did you and the mayor end up going to a meeting yesterday regarding the city of Tamarack and the rest of the body not be invited to that meeting?
So full
Especially
disclosure,
an event that happened that was tragic. Frankly, I was the one that organized the vigil. I was the one that, I was told that we weren't even invited to the vigil. The mayor said that. But there was a huge production in our city. Newsletter articles continue to go out about it. And an event happened yesterday to discuss the event from whatever 6 months ago or the results of the investigation. And she went, you went, and 4 of us didn't. And I would have deconflicted my schedule, but there was no invitation. I found out about it after it happened. How did that happen?
So it was not an in-person meeting. It was a Zoom call, and I was reached by the major from downtown that the sheriff would like to have a conference call or Zoom call to talk about or to provide a preview of or heads up on the upcoming press conference. I didn't know the time of the press conference, or we were not aware of the meeting that was called yesterday either. So I believe it was like 1 p.m. Or thereabouts when I received the call, and the meeting Zoom call was scheduled for like 1:30. I was on the road, so it was an impromptu, invitation that I accepted because it was an important matter. Now, the sheriff's one of the first statements from the sheriff himself was that the entire commission was not invited because of the sunshine concerns.
What sunshine concerns?
I'm just
hold on.
Right.
There are no sunshine concerns.
Yeah.
I've heard that a number of times. That line was used with me multiple times after being elected here. Oh, you can't come to this meeting because of sunshine. You can't come here because of the sunshine.
Is this relevant, or are we going to let the city manager finish? We are in the middle of the budget.
You don't need
point
to.
Of clarification.
You're the one you're the person that uses the line, Mayor. A hit dog always hollers. I'm talking right now. Please don't disrespect me.
I'm asking.
I'm talking directly to the manager. I have questions that need answers. I didn't disrupt you. Please don't disrupt me.
I'm asking you.
I didn't disrupt you. Please don't disrupt me. Thank you. The question is, why is this a sunshine matter? Listening to a briefing from the sheriff does not. That is not. Sunshine is a matter that is coming before this board that we are going to be voting on. Listening to what happened in our city 6 months ago is not a sunshine violation. And if it were, then I think that the appropriate way the appropriate way it should have been handled would have been that there was a workshop had here in our city, the commission be invited, the mayor is 1/5 vote. This is a body. The residents should have been here. Everyone should have been a part of that conversation if there was a briefing to be had. Subsequent to the meeting, I see a press release on social media. The mayor says, I'm confused. The mayor says it was inclusive. There was no inclusivity. No one was invited to the meeting. To the commissioner's point, don't speak on the behalf of me. Don't speak on the behalf of my residents. I've had a lot of people come and express grief, sadness, confusion, questions that none of us are able to answer. I'm watching Sun Sentinel like everybody else. The reality is that this is a council manager form of government. I've said it once. I will continue to say it until everybody understands. This is not a strong mayor city. So I'm confused, manager, at how we found ourselves in a situation where the sheriff doesn't know that we're a body. How come the sheriff doesn't know that? Are we communicating that? Does he know that the rest of us are equally as interested in knowing what's happening with respect to public safety in our city?
So,
Let me just make this little comment. This is a very important conversation. Perhaps we should kind of focus on the budget, because at first it was about the budget, but I think maybe we should focus on the budget, vote on this, and then afterward, before adjournment, if you want to continue this conversation, I think we can, but I don't want to confuse the residents with the budget and this other conversation that we're having, which is...
Well, I appreciate that. I think where this is, Commissioner Wright spoke to some questions he had with respect to numbers, and it was discussed that we're voting on numbers before the contract is even negotiated. Correct. In terms of the contract, the relevance in this case is if we're voting on a number that's a part of the contract and the contract has terms, what I'd like to ensure is that before we is the contract coming before the commission?
it will, and the number as part of the budget is just an allocation. It's not the contract that's being, proposed. It's just an allocation of budget numbers for the possible renewal of the contract. It will come to you for approval.
Okay, my vote on the budget for police services is hell yes. My concerns with respect to the business terms and how we do business with our partners in BSO need to be considered. Right. And I'm adamant about that. I stand wholeheartedly with what was discussed earlier. Manager, the direction is this. Do not put out a press release on the behalf of this commission.
Understood.
Wait a second, a point of clarification. Weren't you just told by Commissioner Bolton you don't take directive from just one person on the commission unless it's three of us?
I make a motion that the manager do not put out a press release on the behalf of this commission. Can I get a second?
We have a motion on the floor for the budget, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to go back to the budget. We're calling the question. City Clerk, call the question on the budget.
No.
It's about the budget. Are you going to speak about the budget?
You do not do that. And you'll be humiliated every time.
I'm not humiliated by you.
You do not call a question, clerk. You do not speak. You do not speak from the audience. You do not speak from the audience, sir. You do not speak from the audience.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is 6:53. We will be back at 7 o'clock. We are in recess.
You do not speak from the audience.
Gentlemen, we are now back in session. It is 7 p.m. And the people who wish to speak should be in their seats. If not, we are going to call the question. Commissioner Bolton, you have your 2 minutes.
Manager, 5%. So if we start at $23 million, it means that over a period of time, over 5 years, the contract could go to how much?
I don't have that number right off the top of my head, Commissioner, but the 5% cap limits the increase.
Can you have staff work that quick math out for a minute?
Sure.
You want to know 5% for 5 years?
Yes.
Obviously, I don't have to point out that additional services we contract with the sheriff's office is not within that cap. So if we add another deputy or two, it's not part of that cap. That's added to the contract.
What do you mean?
So, our contract is based on the existing personnel complement. So if we ever change that equation and add, let's say 2 more deputies, 3 more deputies, that does not go against that cap. It just gets added to the contract because it doesn't exist today.
So with the negotiation from BSO, are we going to continue at a 5% cap or not? Or the contract could be different? Could he say, I want 10% cap or?
That 5% cap is to continue.
But if the contract is done and we're starting a new contract, then the new terms of the contract could say we're not going to do a 5% cap, we're going to do a 10% cap.
It could happen, but in our draft agreements that we exchange with the major and internally that we're looking at, that 5% is still the cap.
Okay. In looking at the budget, we're proposing a public safety director, $326,000. Let's hear about that.
So this was an item that was part of the original budget workshop, and during that time, the conversation was that we need another entity that can oversee the city's general public safety concerns and enhance the level of services that we provide from a public safety perspective.
Okay, so, I believe I have a very good relationship with the guys at BSO, and everywhere I go, they seem to talk about Captain Frank and that that he's a consummate professional and he's good and he's that. And people are talking about whoever these 2 new candidates are for fire department, that they're equally as great. So I don't know that we need this public safety director position. I would rather see the assistant manager role be put back in the budget and take out this public services director role.
I believe, and I'm going to refer to our finance director, but if that's the desire of the city commission, those changes can be made between this meeting and the next meeting.
So I'd like to ask my colleagues if they would be amenable to that.
I agree.
There was a question first. The city manager was asking Ms. Kajust. Does Ms. Kajust need to answer that question first for a clear
Yes,
question?
5% compounded over 5 years. In year 5, it would be 30,473,552.
And the more updated question, Christine, is we can make changes to the budget between now and the next meeting.
We do need to advertise what the tentative budget is after this meeting. But we can make changes even in the last meeting, but whatever changes happen tonight, we will do, that's the change that we will advertise. Yes.
Point of clarification.
Yes.
I believe that they could just go do it now before we vote and just take a recess and let them make the changes.
What Christine is saying, that whatever the conclusion of the conversation is, it needs to be part of the advertisement that we're going to have to put out. And so I would suggest that we complete the conversation about the budget and the changes and amendments, and then so we have a complete list of changes to advertise.
Yeah, and what we will do, whatever the changes are that's agreed on, we would calculate the change and tell you what the budget will be, and you vote on that number.
Right now?
Yes.
Okay.
So there is a request to remove the Public Services, Public Safety Director and remove the freeze of the funding of the Assistant City Manager. Is that correct? Or are we doing one at a time? Commissioner Bolton.
Correct. Remove the public safety director and
remove the freeze.
Reinstate the ACM role.
Right.
Go ahead.
Jeff was saying, go ahead.
For a point of clarification on the process tonight, and we've done this before, we've made changes between the tentative and the adopted budget, and what the commission would do tonight is they would, of whatever list of items you come up with that you want to change or edit, we would take that into account. What we do, you would vote on the budget as amended that would include all the things that you want to do, and we would bring forward an ordinance that had a different attachment next time that reflected what those changes were and what that total amount was. So all you really have to do tonight to make things simple is to adopt on the budget as amended and whatever, individual changes each commissioner wants to see put in there. Okay?
Thank you. So I have Commissioner Bolton wishing that. Commissioner Patterson, you were starting to say?
No, I just I second that amendment to the budget as presented. But
we're just getting consensus right now on if that is going to be an item that would be
right. So I'm
changed.
saying yes.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Wright?
Question, City Manager. ACM role, this has been in the budget since 2023, has it?
Correct.
The public safety director.
It's been in the budget for much longer than that. It's been 2017.
Okay, and the public safety director, if you recall, I did mention, can't we get a consultant to kind of advise us, because we do have fantastic BSO leadership and the fire department. I did mention that in the last budget workshop, and I was for removing that. So I would support Commissioner Bolton in removing that particular position, because I think we have qualified public safety people at the helm. So I do support that in removing that, because I did mention that in the last workshop. So we're removing the public safety and we're replacing that with ACM, which is a difference of like
41,000.
41,000, okay.
41,052.
Yeah, okay.
May I suggest that we leave some dollars in there, limited amount of dollars, and so that in case we need some outside assistance in public safety matters, whatever they may be, that we have access to that.
Mr. City Manager, you're thinking of what, a contract person? And what is the amount that you are thinking that you would possibly believe should be left in the budget for?
I'm thinking, somewhere around $65,000-$70,000, not to exceed $70,000 for FY26.
So the amendment to the request is now this per the city manager. Reduce adding a public safety director at the price of $326,877. Turn it into a contract employee with a amount not to exceed $70,000 for FY26 if it should be needed. And then continuing along those lines, unfreezing the $285,825. And basically, it would be a difference of approximately $30,000 in the budget additional when you take the reduction from the original public services director, adding back the assistant city manager, which was a $40,000 savings, and now putting up $70,000. So we're talking about an increase of $30,000. Is that correct? Approximately.
If that's the math.
Yeah.
So at this time, then I will go down the line again and see if that is amenable. Commissioner Bolton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Quick question, City Manager. Do you currently have a consultant?
We do.
And how are you paying for that?
We're paying for it out of this year's funds.
This year's funds from where?
For we have some funds for the contractual services and in the city manager's office, and we're paying out of that fund.
So why do we need additional money if you already have that?
I don't believe that same amount of dollars are going to continue to be in the city manager's budget, and so we also did we not include that as part of the budget amendment or
Yes, we would have to include it as part
yeah,
of the budget
so
amendment.
we're sort of borrowing that money, and that amendment will come to you.
Okay, yes,
Yeah.
public safety, absolutely,
Right.
30 grand more, can be called, yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Patterson.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. The $21,000 I see for 557B, explain that.
During the workshop on August 27, there was a consensus to increase the amount that the city contributes for 457 for the commission, to move it from $4,800 to $9,000 a year.
And that is a benefit to the commission.
To the commissioners, yes, individual commissioners.
What would it be per commission per year, per commissioner per year?
$3,800.
Okay, so I've heard Commissioner Wright say that he's not for benefits going toward himself. So I'd like to reduce that.
4,200, sorry, 4,200.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so
Your time is called.
okay, I'd like to ask my colleagues just for a little bit more time so I can go through this line item. Is that okay? Is that okay?
Then we are going to wind up having to allow everybody else to have the same amount of time.
Absolutely.
So 2 minutes.
This is a budget item. We shouldn't be rushing the people's business.
When it's convenient, 2 minutes.
Absolutely. All right. So how much per?
4,200.
Okay. So because Commissioner Wright says that he does not want that benefit, he does not want benefits to go to himself, I'd like to reduce that amount by $4,000. That's what he said. That's not what I'm saying. That's what he said. He said he does not want any benefits going for him. That's what you said, right? You said no additional benefit.
No additional benefit. We had this discussion in a workshop. You can pull the record. I think the HR lady can comment on that. We had that discussion. But if it makes you feel good, I wouldn't take the additional benefit of the money contributed to my investment account.
Oh, I'm just saying what you said.
Yeah, but I'm a
So
praying man.
this is a
I'll be
benefit.
blessed in many other ways.
This is a benefit. This is a benefit to the commission, and the commissioner is saying that he does not want a benefit. So
I said I do not support any additional benefits.
you don't support an additional benefits, exactly. So I'm just saying, then this $21,000 should be reduced by $4,000 because that would be his benefit. Is there anybody else that does not want this benefit?
This little game going on right now
It's
is
not
just
a-
that.
it's-
This little
it's
game
not a
that's going
game.
on, that's just that. That's fine. That's
is
fine.
not a game.
That's fine. That's fine.
It is-
I so too wish for that benefit to not be provided. I do not ask for it. I have said that this is inappropriate. So
So we're reducing that by 8,000, yes?
Are we reducing it by 8,400?
We just had two elected officials said that they don't want it.
Okay.
Okay, is there anything else in there that is, that is for the commission's benefit? Appropriate funding for travel?
Yes.
Okay, $20,000.
Yes.
Okay. What was it last year?
That line was zero.
That line was zero. Okay. So that is an extra benefit, Commissioner Wright and Mayor Gomez. Would you like to have that additional benefit, or do you want to let us take it from the budget?
We get 10,000 for travel. That's already there.
This is an increase of $20,000.
This is an increase of what, 20,000 additionally, or a pool?
Manager?
It's a pool.
Okay. So divided by 4, 5?
5.
Okay.
So that means the pool gets bigger for who wants it, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're saying you don't want additional benefits. Those are your words. I'm just trying to help.
No, I understand what you're trying to do. If it's 20,000 and you're reducing the amount of people who can share from it, means you get more money, don't you?
No, we're reducing it.
You're reducing the money.
So we're removing your portion if you don't want it.
So I keep my 10,000 I came in met there. I'm saying that whatever I have before, I'm not adding to that. So I keep my 10,000. I'm fine with keeping what I have already. I don't need additional pool of whatever. If you want to do that, that makes you feel good, so be it. Keep my 10,000 that I came in I met. Done.
Yeah, the pool is not allocated per commissioner. It's just a pool for all commissioners, but there's no specific allocation.
But because he's not going to pull from the pool, we should not be encumbering funds. So we should remove the $4,000 that he would get.
Are we removing 4,000?
No, you're going to reduce it. Well, you're going to reduce it by another, or is it? Was it 2,000 each, right?
4,000.
4,000 each.
But it's not allocated per commissioner. It's just
But
a
here's the
pool.
thing. Some of us know what a budget is, and some of us stay on budget, and therefore we haven't had to drain the budget in order to add the extra money to be pulled from because people go and travel outside their budget lines. So yeah, I have no problem to reduce that pooled amount, because I don't agree with it in the first place, because we should be sticking to our budget amount that is allocated to each of us for our travel. And this has never happened, unfortunately, for some people.
Okay, so that's reduced to.
So that a big whopping
Clarification,
16,400.
because I've never gone over my budget. I usually turn in back the majority of the money. So let's not drop little hints, because I've never done
What
that.
about you, Commissioner?
Yeah,
Vice
but
Mayor?
when you say that to the crowd, it appears if we all go over. You normally get back almost all of your $10,000 from me. So let's not put that out there. And that 20,000 or whatever, 10,850, it will probably stay the same. It'll probably go right back to the budget.
Are we reducing that line by 8,000?
Mm-hmm.
That's their pleasure, yes.
No, we should keep it in there, but I can't go past it.
No.
I'll give him extras, but I wouldn't go past it. Let's put that in there. Keep it as is,
Well,
but
that's his
I wouldn't
opinion.
exceed my 10 grand. Since I'll be fair, you can have extras, and I wouldn't go past whatever.
I'm not as generous. Reduce it for me. Take that $4,000 that it would be allocated that I would have the access to in a pool and remove it as we nickel and dime this budget when we still have millions that we are over by. So let's continue to drag this along
So
because
this
there's nothing better to
12,000
do tonight.
This 20,000 would now be 12,000.
Yes, 12.
He's saying that he can. No, he just said he can give his colleagues extra.
It's 12.
And the mayor says she doesn't want it. So
No, it's 12.
is it 4,000 or is it we're reducing by 4,000 or is it by 8,000?
Because he wants his other 4,000, Ms. Kajus, so it's 16,000. It's only 16,000, not 20.
Listen.
No, reduce it by 4. I had a change of heart. Reduce it by 4. 12.
I emphatically stand by my travel. Okay? I went to Washington. I asked the congresswoman for more
This
money.
is-
We were asking for $200,000. We got $1.6 million. That was my ask. I was in the meeting. I asked for that. So I stand by my travel.
Thank you
Okay?
very much.
So what are
we now have-
what
your
did
time
we-
is done.
What did we say? Are we reducing it by 16,000 or reducing it to 12,000?
To 12,000.
Got it. Thank you. Anything else that is in here for the commission?
So it is now,
Is the- is there-
I
is-
would like
Okay,
the
I asked my colleagues
executive
I asked my colleagues for extra time.
But you got your
we
extra
did-
time.
We did not settle on an amount of time.
Our
We-
HR director has been wanting to speak. Ms.
I am
Ms.
asking.
Durgan,
I am
please come up.
asking. Point of order, Madam.
Ms.
Mr.
Durgan is
Manager.
not in your time. She wishes to speak about an item on the budget, and she is going to speak.
What are you guys trying to hide? We're in
There's
the
nothing to
sunshine.
hide, Ms.
Let
Durgan.
us go through the budget.
Oh,
you want
wow,
residents
wow,
to see the
wow.
budget? Let's go through the budget. You want to see what commissioners
Ms.
are
Durgan, you
getting?
now do
Let's
not wish
go
to
through
speak?
the budget. Why are you trying to rush this
Could you-
process?
Ms.
Let's
could
go
you-
through the budget.
Ms. could
There's
you-
a lot of benefits
Please
for
proceed
commissioners. And just because it's coming from me, you don't want to hear it? Okay.
Oh, wow. Ms. could you
Yeah.
please continue in whatever Ms. Durgan deferred to you to discuss, please
Oh, no,
share.
she was just a clarification on the budget for the commission.
Okay. Well, if we're making
Well,
decisions on it, we would like to
Point
hear.
of clarification. I think she mentioned in the workshop, because I paid very attention. She said we couldn't bifurcate the benefits in terms of, and clarify me, our HR director is that.
Here we go.
I just want to make sure. She did say that. I just want to make sure I don't get additional stuff. And then someone said, can we bifurcate the additional 21,000 going to the 401B? Can that be bifurcated?
So
Can I exempt
This is
myself?
for the travel? Sorry,
Not
Danielle
the travel,
Durgan,
for the
Director. of
457B. I
457.
recall you saying that we couldn't, when we were having a discussion, and Commissioner Bolton did mention we can opt in or opt out. You said there couldn't be an opt-in, opt-out option.
It's a benefits package, so it would apply to anyone that is involved in the benefits package.
So you're saying, even though I want to opt out, and I'm saying on the record, I, Maurice St. Auburn Wright Jr., want to opt out of getting the 407B. Legally, I cannot opt out.
I would have to defer
I
to.
asked the city attorney whether or not a commission member can opt out, and she said yes.
Because this is not a
This is a
city-sponsored.
Okay.
Right, this is not a city-sponsored benefit. A 457 plan, it's individual, and you don't have to take a 457.
It's a supplemental.
So
It is a city-sponsored benefit when it's in the pension through,
It's not a pension, though. It's not a pension. A 457, is it a 457 plan?
Correct. It is a 457.
Right. It's not this, you can put different amounts in under 457 plans.
It's a supplemental benefit, different from your pension, which is that benefits package.
And you cannot opt out of that.
It's provided by the city.
I understand, yes.
legalities to be continued. You know where people stand, legalities to be continued, and go from there.
You certainly can research it and give you something
Look,
back
this
if
is
you're-
just a game, Assistant City Attorney, not by you, Vice Mayor. Look, exactly, some of us are. Yes, thank you. Are we done? So, at this point, do you need anything further?
So it would be, you would be approving the ordinance as amended.
As amended,
Yes.
correct. City Clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor Gomez, sorry.
No.
Commissioner Wright,
No.
Vice Mayor Daniel,
Yes.
Commissioner Patterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Bolton.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes 3-2 as amended.
Thank you very much. 7:24, meeting's adjourned.